In the next couple of days, the WNBA players are going to decide if they want to go on strike. And if they decide to go on strike, apparently that could be the end of the WNBA. The WNBA cannot come back from.
Here's the real story. For nearly a year, the basketball world bought into a narrative. Women's basketball was supposedly having its breakthrough moment. Headlines screamed record-breaking growth, unstoppable momentum, and a sport finally ready to rival the men's game. Everyone repeated the same story. This was the turning point, the moment we'd all been waiting for. Then reality hit, and it shattered that illusion. When Unrivaled launched its second season on TNT, only 107,000 viewers tuned in. Last season's opener had pulled 313,000. This wasn't a bad night, a scheduling quirk, or poor timing. It was a free fall, a 65% drop in viewership in just 12 months, despite a major network spending heavily to promote the product. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Remove Caitlin Clark, and the audience disappears. Not partially, not gradually. They vanish entirely. These are the numbers, cold and unfiltered. They don't care about good intentions, politics, or narratives. Last year, Clark's presence created the illusion that the league was on the rise. Media outlets convinced themselves the sport had new stars and that fans were finally invested. Reality was simpler and far harsher. One transcendent athlete created a temporary surge. Take her out, and the viewership collapses back to its baseline. And that baseline? It's barely sustainable as a business. Unrivaled was supposed to prove the sport had depth beyond one player, that audiences would tune in for multiple names, that loyalty extended to the game itself. Instead, it revealed the opposite. The league heavily promoted players like Paige Beckers, marketing her as the next big thing. Reports suggest she earned around $348,000, yet the games drew just 17,000 viewers. That's not star power. It's a marketing strategy imploding in real time. From a pure business perspective, it's worse. Each viewer costs the operation multiple dollars before factoring in production, travel, staff salaries, insurance, facilities, and broadcast infrastructure. That's not growth. It's financial quicksand disguised as progress. TNT didn't back Unrivaled out of charity. They bought into the narrative that women's basketball was ready for prime time. The ratings crushed that entire premise. And here's the kicker. Unrivaled was never really about basketball. It was a leveraging tool, a bargaining chip giving WNBA players an alternative during CBA negotiations. The sport was secondary. The numbers just revealed how fragile that leverage actually is. The strategy seemed logical on paper. Give players an alternative league, and suddenly they have leverage. Higher salaries, better revenue sharing, stronger protections. Brilliant in theory. In practice, it's collapsing faster than anyone imagined. Leverage only works when your backup plan actually succeeds. Unrivaled was supposed to be that safety net, the proof that players could generate real demand outside the WNBA. Instead, it's doing the exact opposite, reinforcing every doubt about market appetite. Every underwhelming broadcast weakens negotiation power. Every failed rating boosts the confidence of owners. Remember just weeks ago when WNBA players openly talked about striking? They demanded respect and fair compensation. Now, some are considering playing under the old CBA, the same agreement they publicly rejected. That sudden shift didn't come from a change of heart. It came from reality barging in. The numbers tell the story. Owners offered 50% of net revenue, profit after expenses, which is standard for most successful leagues globally. Players rejected it, demanding 30% of gross revenue before costs. That would put the league $700 million in the red immediately. Not over time, not hypothetically, immediately. This wasn't savvy negotiation. It was entitlement fueled by a false belief that mainstream popularity had permanently arrived. The market corrected that illusion without mercy. Ratings don't compromise. Advertisers don't negotiate. Investors don't care about narratives. They see AE about attention that converts into revenue. Unrivaled failed spectacularly at that test. And if the WNBA season continues under the old agreement, the power dynamic is crystal clear. Owners hold all the cards. The urgency to give ground is gone. The fear of collapse? Gone. The league already struggles to attract viewers. Let players walk. Nothing will change. Unrivaled already ran that experiment. and the results were devastating. The WNBA doesn't survive on financial merit alone. It survives because the NBA subsidizes losses year after year, absorbing red ink for PR, goodwill, and brand positioning. But even charity has limits. When employees demand more while producing less, patience vanishes fast. The biggest miscalculation? The players' union confused Caitlin Clark's individual popularity with league-wide value creation. One generational talent does not elevate an entire ecosystem, especially when that ecosystem resents her instead of building around her. When Clark isn't on screen, the ratings drop. The data proves it. The silence afterward makes it undeniable. Reality doesn't negotiate. It reveals itself, cold and impartial. And right now, it's revealing a league that mistook a temporary surge for a lasting movement. What comes next won't be dramatic or explosive. It'll be quiet, predictable, and deeply humiliating. Players will either accept a deal close to the old CBA or strike and discover exactly how little leverage they have. There is no hidden option waiting to save them. The fantasy that owners will panic? Destroyed by ratings. A strike wouldn't shut down the league or force concessions. It would confirm what the market already knows. The product is optional. Viewers won't miss it. Sponsors won't step in. Networks won't intervene. Silence would speak louder than any protest. Unrivaled has already written its own ending. Whether it officially folds or limps along doesn't matter. Its core purpose failed, proving there's demand beyond the WNBA. There isn't. There's no hidden audience. No untapped market. The league was given exposure, prime slots, major networks, promotion everywhere, and the audience didn't show. The problem isn't visibility. The problem is demand. The harshest truth for players? This moment didn't arrive because they fought hard enough. It arrived because they misunderstood what leverage really is. Leverage isn't declared. It's demonstrated. And it disappears the instant your alternative fails publicly. Every bold statement becomes empty noise. What makes this worse? The league had a genuine once-in-a-generation opportunity. Caitlin Clark generated measurable interest, real viewership, momentum, proof that the ceiling could move higher. Instead of building around that, the ecosystem fractured. Resentment replaced strategy. Ideology outweighed business sense. Markets don't reward being adjacent to demand. You only get compensated for generating it. Outside of Clark, the evidence is brutally clear. Remove her, and everything collapses back to baseline. That doesn't mean players lack skill. It means skill alone isn't the product being sold. Attention is the product. The next phase? Quiet retreats, not loud victories. Public solidarity will fade as private negotiations begin. Players who shouted about unity will be first to secure protections for themselves. Principles bend when contracts are on the line. That's human nature. Owners understand this perfectly. They don't need to rush. Time works entirely in their favor. Every missed broadcast reinforces the same conclusion. Every opportunity lost narrows the path forward. Acceptance becomes inevitable, not because players were convinced, but because alternatives vanish. And here's the final irony. None of this required conflict from management. The market handled it. It stripped away illusions, exposed the gap between visibility and value, and made clear what drives real interest. In the end, this isn't about punishment. It's about reality asserting itself. Women's basketball has a commercial ceiling right now, and it has a very specific name. Ignoring data or hoping otherwise won't raise it. Only building around proven demand creates real change. The ultimate lesson? You're not worth what you think you deserve. You're worth what someone will pay when they have genuine choice. And the audience has made its choice. The real question isn't whether players should strike or accept the old deal. The real question is, are they ready to accept what the market has been telling them all along? Or will they keep fighting a reality that doesn't negotiate?